Langau, Austria. In the liner notes for the August 1976 live performance in Langau, Austria, entitled Air Above Mountains, Buildings Within, Cecil Taylor includes a poem that explicitly outlines what he refers to as the methodological fissures of his acoustic practice. Quote from Cecil, "Music does not exist within notation, which proceeds from heretical cultural aggrandizement and association. Abstraction, they have divided the body, treating the mind as a divine agent, emotion being controlled to achieve purity," unquote. In this passage, Taylor tersely polemicizes the role musical notation and emotional restraint have historically played in creating dichotomies within musical institutions. In this text, I render myself an embodied conduit to the affective world of Taylor's pianistic, verbal, and choreographic outpourings, emphasizing the manner that Taylor's oeuvre, however we say that word, unravels hundreds of years of rigidity in the Western art music tradition by reversing this notation-based division of the body. I will address transcription, oral tradition, metadata erasure, and other terms that are essential to characterizing Cecil. This vocabulary is bolstered by aesthetic commentary courtesy of art critic Guido Stehl's Visual Politics and Yale professor Michael Beale's proffering of fragmentation and the generative abuse of equipment. The theme of a transgressive yet sacrosanct relationship with technology shatters the plateau of the Bosendorfer's modified piano and the enlarged acoustic space it conjures. The second section will briefly concern language. A makeshift linguistics will operate as a discussion and negation of music theory and its institutional vernacular. Cecil repeatedly emphasizes his alternative theories of composition and the manner in which he instructs interviewers about these renegade scales and shapes itself enacts the reiterative nature of his music. Alternatively, this section will also deconstruct the archaic terms in musical language that still lead to cumbersome colonial baggage. For Cecil's specific compositional canon, ergo the need for the aforementioned structure without a roof, that which we might inhale as air above mountains. In the broad scope of 20th century black radical composition, it is all too common for sloppy adjectives to be thrown at the outpourings of a Cecil or an Ornette or an Alice Coltrane. To describe Cecil as legendary is not to promote a faceless exoticism, but merely to admit that the composer's ability to enact contradictions is mythically unique. The expositional descent framed via Air Above Mountains, Buildings Within, is riddled with defamations and celebrations of language, and this schism is a generative expose of dichotomy's obsolescence. The precision of Taylor's musical interventions merits nothing other than specificity, and for this reason, this section sets to locate Cecil in a diligent vocabulary that engenders an interpretive space suited to the nuance in which Taylor magnanimously conjures his own music time and time again. There is a cloying yet crucial complaint of the inadequacy of jazz as a term for anything other than a capitalist arrangement. Whether or not one chooses to invoke that institutional and unspecific mantle of the black radical tradition as an archival intercession, Cecil and his composerly peers are constantly invalidating that crude marketing category connoted by the term jazz. Jazz is what is consumed by a white media-thirsty bunch that would prefer to hear what someone said about an occurrence rather than listen to it themselves. Jazz is the amorphous noun of black subjugation that sells tickets and recordings on behalf of institutions. And yet, as in the poetic invocation from unit structures that began this passage, Taylor deploys the term nonetheless, but instead as a gesticulating succession. Jazz, naked fire gesture, dancing protoplasm, absorbs, as quoted. What then is naked fire and gesture, and how do these embellishments animate jazz through some of its historical claustrophobias? Nakedness is the perpetual emphasis that Taylor evidences surrounding the importance of embodiment, and the singe of naked fire is what allows dancing its Promethean reclamation. In the poem cited in the introduction, Akoi Arroyo, the poem on the back of the Air Above Mountains LP, Taylor elaborates, quote, coordination of physique, muscles, the mind, existing as one reasoned act through erasure of the written note, end quote. Erasure for Cecil is that which the body accomplishes in order to elude transcription and notation. This is to say that in Cecil's case, dancing protoplasm quite literally absorbs, and that the power of embodiment is in diametric opposition to the manner in which music theory flattens affect into orthography. Yet, this protoplasm absorbs, for it is an erasure that also engulfs. Simultaneously, it is necessary to define another form of erasure, one that pertains to discographic entities rather than transcriptional ones. At the same time that Taylor erases the shortcomings of music theory through a bodily ritual, there is also a necessary discussion of the spotty metadata surrounding Cecil's most prescient works. What is the meaning of erasing metadata, and who is charged with these economic and canonical whitenings? To discuss erasure is to understand the manner in which the obscurity of Taylor's performances is heightened by the limitations of out-of-print physical formats. Anyone who's familiar may be aware of Cecil Taylor's notorious $1,200 FMP Live in Berlin box set, which is both obscure, out-of-print, and containing metadata that is elusive or erased.
computer keys. The sound of the computer keys. The glow as the sound of the computer keys. The sound of the computer keys. It's so, it is so, it is so. Home, 2, home, 3, home, 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 2, home, 3, home, 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 2, home, 3, home, 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 2, home, 3, home, 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 2, home, 3, home, 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 2, home, 3, home, home,
Good morning.
Portland.
Good morning.
Portland.
8 people were killed and at least 200.
Portland.
Portland, that's -8 on the Celsius scale. And at 10 minutes after 7 o'clock, that's the news. I'm Sue Bernard.
Portland.
Good morning, I'm Sue Bernard. Here are the top stories to this hour. The State Human Services Department is preparing for cut. And at 7:35, that's the news. I'm Sue Bernard. Okay, Norman.
I'm innovative. I'm really happy to be here. Thanks. Sing along if you know it, okay? If you want to.
It's a relieving to know that you're leaving as soon as you get paid. It's so relaxing to hear that you're asking whenever you get your way. It's so soothing to know that you'll soon be starting to sound the same. I miss the confident being sad. I miss the confident being sad. And if there's rumors, I hope you're still with us. The same thing over. I think inflation, these translations, this is for the future side. On the ground, confident to be sad.
Radiator great. Radiator great. You're melting on the ground. You're melting on the ground. You're melting on the ground. Get whacked. Get whacked. Get smell. Rain phone numbers on the walls. Rain phone numbers on the walls. Rain phone numbers on the walls. Rain phone numbers on the wall. Write phone numbers on the wall. So my phone number on your wall. Writing phone numbers on the wall. So Jim's phone number on your wall. Writing phone numbers on your wall. Writing phone number on your wall. Writing phone numbers on your wall. So, hold. Enough.